You're muted. Gabby, if you could please unmute yourself.
Sorry. Hello, Toastmaster. How are today? Hello, Toastmaster and guests. Welcome to the Roseburg Speaker and Storytellers Toastmaster Club. We are going to start the meeting, and first of all, in RSS, it is my part to say these three things. Toastmaster International has established in California in 1924 for Ralph Smedley. Today, Toastmaster International has an involvement to be a worldwide not-profit organization with more than 16,800 clubs and 145 countries. It is where we can learn and grow together and find environment in building our personal development and a safe place to practice our communication on public speaking and leadership. In other words, we empower individual and leader. Roseburg Speaker and Storytellers has established in Oregon in 19 September 2005. We are a blender and Harry Club. Our members are from all over the world. We meet every Monday at 7 a.m. Oregon time. The same Zoom link. Guests are always welcome. The housekeeping protocol. During meeting, we suggest you to mute your microphone unless you are going to speak and leave your camera on. For all role takers, please identify your role and from of your name, please. For all speakers, please remember your pin video or timer and we are aware of the speaking time allocation. Also, please be informed that this meeting will be recorded and may be published in social medias. Thank you. Now I am going to hand over the control to our president to officially start the meeting. Please help me to welcome Andrew and Dan.
Thank you, Gabby. Let's officially start our meeting. RSS, it's time to start the meeting. And let's directly welcome our profound member, Toastmaster of the Day, Alice Saviri.
Hello, you. I want to dedicate, I'm sorry, but I'm late. This to Bibi. Bibi, listen to that. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love. I'm singing in the raindrops keep falling on my head. But that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turned to red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining. Because I'm free, nothing's worrying me. One of my strongest memories as a teenager is when I was getting back home from school and it was raining. I remember that I never had an umbrella. I believed that umbrellas are completely useless. So I, with my friends, walking in the rain and laughing, and I remember the smell of the ground and the sense of freedom and clearance and hope. When I feel blue and when raindrops keep falling on my head, I'm trying to find that feeling of hope and freedom again. It's not very easy, but there's always the song, nothing's worrying me because I'm free. And now I'm going to introduce you our role takers. Our first role taker has two roles. He will be our grammarian and accountant. Our role taker is Tiger.
Thank you very much. And you'll all be very happy to know I am not going to sing for you. The word of the day is deluge. If you look in the chat, deluge has actually two meanings. One is a severe flood. And trust me when I tell you, in Oregon right now, we would be more than happy to have so much rain that it floods, because we have one giant campfire in Oregon right now. Bring your marshmallows to Oregon. We got plenty of smoke for everybody. So deluge, a severe flood or a large quantity of something, such as Alice is going to deluge us with many comments and songs today. I am also the counter, so pay attention to your ahs, your ums, you know, likes, these kinds of things. I will keep a tally. If you are a person that uses and so ahs, ums overly, I will send a message in chat. I will not embarrass you publicly. Back to you, Miss Table Topics Master.
No, Toastmaster of the day.
Oh, Toastmaster of the day and singing Toastmaster of the day. Thank you, Alice.
Now it's time for our timer, Ayu. Ayu says that when rainy days come, she lets herself soaked and wet, and then she crawls back to face it once in a time.
Oh, thank you, Alice. Yes, that's pretty much me. Whew. Okay, now once in a time, introducing my role. I will be using this color paper to show our timer. If I'm lucky, I can show the color background. So I believe we have 3 speakers today, right, Yasmin? And for 5 to 7 minutes speech, I will be, or for all the speech, for minimum time, I will show green. For between the minimum to the maximum, I will show yellow. And then at the maximum time, I will show red. And every speech has 30-second grace for all of us to just wrap up and finish. How about that? Back to you, Alice.
Let's move to our first part. It's prepared speeches. Today we have 3 speakers. Our first speaker is Amy Hartung. Amy's pathway is Presentation Mastery Level 5, and her project title is Lessons Learned. Lessons Learned by Amy Hartung.
Thank you very much, Alice. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'd like to reflect on the last year and a half of my presentation mastery. It is a bit of a relief to have it all completed. It's like wrapping up a little parcel with a ribbon at the end, and I can hand it back. I have lessons that I've taken away from this journey. I've the actual Toastmaster tips. I've personal growth that I've seen over the last year and a half. And then there's some continuous challenges that I can see continuing on into the future. I'd like to go through each of these with you today. For the physical tips, to be honest, I think all of these tie in together, because although I've learned these tips, I'm going to continue working on them. My biggest one, vocal variety. I spent the first 25 years of my life perfecting a monotone voice, because I quite enjoyed it, and I found it quite humorous to just have this flat voice. And then a few years later, I start doing public speaking and discover that no, you can't have the flat voice. Nobody likes the flat voice. It means people just switch off and they don't hear you. So I had to do a bit of retraining and really shift to start bringing in these ups and downs. Another thing that I learned that's been really powerful is the energy that we bring to the stage, like our presence here, and how strong that can be. So the difference between sitting down, standing up, the movement we make, the smiles, everything, that's just been really interesting to understand how our physical appearance, our physical actions can have such an impact on the speech. So it's not all about the words. The lesson I remember learning that really helped me with my speeches was from my mentor, and I think it was with my first speech. She said, nobody actually listens to what you say anyway. You know, they listen, but they're all just wondering what they're going to get out of it. So don't worry, don't feel self-conscious. Just ensure that you have messages that people can take away and they'll enjoy the speech. And I found that to be, that helped me. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I think it's still terrifying though. This leads on to the personal growth. So it's been a year and a half, and I remember that first meeting I had, and I remember my first few speeches, just being terrified, really quiet, not into talking. My generalness is not into talking. I like to sit quietly along the side and observe. And unfortunately, that was not, that doesn't fly in Toastmasters. You get called out for your table topics and everything else. And with these speeches, we have to give. And it's been interesting to see what happens when you do give, and to see the reciprocation from the audience, and also to see how it inspires others and how we can all inspire each other when we do this, and when we kind of put ourselves out of our comfort zone and we make these little challenges, and then we evaluate each other and we all learn from it as well, because we're in this beautiful safe space. So there's been huge growth personally for me, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful for the safe space to have had that in. The continuous growth. Ooh, I've also noticed I have a lot of filler words, and I can see my counter writing notes. That's one of those, that was one of the physical tips that I know I'm still working with, so definitely ties in with the continuous growth. It's something I've learned is we have all these things that we're taught in Toastmasters. The real challenge is, how do we integrate these into our everyday life? And how do we integrate this when we come off the screen or when we're in different scenarios? I know I have an experience I can't remember if I shared it in the speech or not before, but I had to give a presentation, and I thought I was pretty savvy at this point. I was like, okay, I've got this, I can do this. But I stepped out of my familiar Toastmasters zone, and I gave this speech. It was a pitch for something, and I absolutely crumbled. And it was like everything that I'd been taught went out the window, and I stood there just stuttering and stumbling, and a lot of filler words, a lot of blank staring, and a lot of flat tone voice. So all of this is continuous. Like we take it into different areas, and we just keep pushing out our boundaries and just challenging ourselves a bit more every time. And although this path is finished for me now, I know the growing and the learning and everything else is only just at the beginning, and everything, there's going to be a new lesson. And working with all of you helps that. And it, like, because we get to learn, I get to learn every time I hear someone else's speech, every time I hear my evaluation, I hear little emails from people or one-on-one conversations. It's just more growth, it's just more learning, and it's all together, interpersonal. We're sharing it, we're growing together. So I'm really grateful to be finishing this path and continuing with more with all of you. And the 3 biggest lessons, just to summarize, that I've learned, they're not in any of the books, but it's smile and just have a good time. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you. What a speech. I remember your first speech. I was there. And there isn't any connection to that person anymore. I think you are a completely different person as a speaker. And now let's move to our second speaker, which is Michelle. Michelle, what's the title of your speech?
Oh, sorry. It's the Mesco way.
Okay.
So,
do you want me to say it, or are you going to start?
well, I don't know. I can hardly see because my internet on the iPhone.
Michelle, can you hear me? I would like to hear from you. What's your strongest rainy memory, if you have one?
Yes, I have many memories of rain because I grew up in the Philippines with a lot of rain. I think a composite of different rain memories is when I'm indoors and I hear the heavy deluge of rain on the roof, but it's not coming in, so I'm not wet, I'm warm inside, but I can hear the deluge outside. Back to you.
Okay. So your title of your speech is? The
Mesco way. Since I guess it didn't get caught in the agenda. So this is a level. Do you want me to go on and give a brief?
Yes, because I don't have it. I didn't see it anywhere.
Yes, my apologies. It was submitted late. So this is a level 2 project from Strategic Relations. It is the introduction to Toastmasters mentoring, or introduction to mentoring. And the title is the Mesco way. There's a saying that when one door closes, another, maybe a window, opens. That I distinctly remember. That's how I felt when I just lost my job. It was a bit of a surprise. It was during the economic recession in the Philippines. So losing my job with 4 young children was not an easy experience. However, as I was riding in the tricycle, that's a motorized, like a car, but on a motorcycle. As I was riding down that day, I saw a sign that said, job opening HR manager, just 2 blocks away from I used to work. So the next morning I went there and I submitted my application, and I was escorted into the president's office for an interview. And I was thinking, this is strange. I'm being interviewed by the company president himself. His name was Peter Lee. And I realized, oh, he was such a strange person. I think strange was not the right word. He was eccentric. He asked weird questions like, can you take a dose of your own medicine? How do you eat your rice? Rice? Do you leave any rice on your plate? I kept on wondering what is going on. But as the interview progressed, I realized this man had created what he called the Mesco way. Mesco was the name of his company that was Manufacturers Equipment and Supply Company Incorporated. And he had started it from scratch, just himself, and then later he and his wife, and later on a third person for several years, just 3 of them. And this man, after he realized that I was hungry for learning, that I was very young and very raw, I lacked experience. I didn't really have any decent experience in HR. My one HR experience of a few months was not very successful. So he asked me, if you're prepared to learn, I am prepared to teach. That's a beautiful concept. So I said, bring it. Well, I didn't say bring it, but in different words, I said, I am very eager to learn if you will be happy to teach me. So I was hired as HR officer. He said, I will not hire you as HR manager because that will set the bar too high and you're not ready. People will be expecting you to be a manager and you're not ready. So he hired me as HR officer, which back then meant to be lower, although now we have the highest person is an officer. We would have almost every day after work, after everybody else had gone, we would have our mentoring sessions, which I loved, not because of the mentoring itself, but because he would have his lunch box uneaten usually, and he would hand it over to me and say, here, help yourself. And usually it would be chicken. His wife made fabulous chicken. So I loved that part. It was like my reward. But also listening to him, he would just ramble on. And I recall listening to Amy a while back saying that she had used to speak in a monotone. Well, PL or Peter Lee spoke like this. He would just have the same intonation all throughout. So he would say to me, it is better to move forward slowly and then step back 1 step, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. And it was almost hypnotic. I would be listening to his voice in that way. And I would sometimes, I was exuberant and I was young and had a deluge of questions for him. So oftentimes I would interrupt him and I would say, one thing you need to learn, listen. I'm sure Tiger is saying, that lesson was not fully learned yet. But that was one of the first things he taught me. You have to listen. You have to learn to pay attention and absorb what you're being told, because there is a deluge of information that you can learn, but there's only a certain amount that you can absorb. So for me, this man who was considered eccentric and even flat out tyrannical by people, I started to realize that his hard exterior was a camouflage for his very soft interior. For example, early in my career with Mesco, he fired several people, including his son. And when he fired them, it was simply because they would not keep a promise. And for him, not keeping a promise, especially because they were managerial level, that was something he could not tolerate. So his style, which I, as his mentee or his prodigy, was learning, is you under promise, but you over deliver. That was another thing that was part of the Mesco way. The Mesco way, by the way, he had 25 points to know and remember. These 25 points were written down. And I still have some of those points in my head. One of them was, to under promise but over deliver. Another one was it I forgot the exact wording, but it was something about everything is for sale except my integrity. And he used to say, if a customer came and wanted to buy the breeches off my behind, I will sell it to him, but I will not sell him my integrity. I learned that, and that I'm proud to say I carry with me. And sometimes it causes me to have some inconveniences and sometimes maybe monetary loss, but that's okay because that is the Mesco way. And by the way, I cannot see the timer, so let me see, where's the timer? I'm not sure what my time is now. Will the timer maybe give me an audible signal when I get to yellow or green or red?
Red already.
I'm red already. Okay, so let me wrap up by saying that the Mesco way is a way of life. PL was my first mentor who had the greatest impact on me. And there are times when people say to me, you are weird. I consider it as a badge of honor because that is something that I gained from PL. Back to you, Madame Toastmaster.
Thank you, Michelle, for your speech. And now we're going to our third speaker, which is Kunang Kam. Kunang's stronger rainy memory is when she had driven her motorcycle while it was raining from the Provence to her home at the village. When raindrops keep falling on her head, she keeps going and moves forward. Her pathway is Team Collaboration Level 3, and her project title is How Do I Collaborate with My Team? Kunang Kam, how do I collaborate with my team?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Dailies and the dear fellow Toastmaster and most welcome guests. Hello, little ladies. Yes. How do I collaborate with my teams? And I could ask a question: who is my team? Who are my team? My team is my students. I'm working with a small group of my students. So I'm talking about I'm start the teaching during a pandemic. The first beginning of my team is only 2 students joining with my group. And how I contact them at the first time, I go to their house individual and ask their phone number and their Facebook account from their parents. So at the first time, only students joining with me, and the second time is 3 students. One is that I have to listen to them why they cannot join. the big problem is that most of parents doesn't have a Facebook account, and so their children cannot use the phone number, use phone. And two is that I have to pay full attention on what I am doing. What I am doing right now is teaching my student via Facebook Messenger, and then I'm turning to the Zoom. Yes. So I'm teaching my student how to use Zoom meeting, and then they understand and they join with me. From my full attention on my work, my student, they told their friends, they ask the other students to come to study with me. So then we have three, after that we have four, and we have five, and now they am teaching 11 students in my group. The third is that respect. Yes, respectfulness is really important in a team collaboration. When I am teaching my students, I have to respect all their voice in during my teaching, because some students, they want to ask, they have a question, so I need to encourage them to raise their hand and speak what they are wondering. They need to asking a question or put a question in the chat. Some students, they are shy and they feeling nervous because they never know, they didn't know about the Zoom meeting before. But we are feeling enjoying with our teaching because we are all new. I am also a new person with the meeting on Zoom. My student also new, but it's okay. We can continue to study together. I'm teaching my student every day from Monday to Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Cambodia time. I sharing my screen, my lesson via screen sharing, and my student, they learn from my sharing, and when they have question, they asking me, and their friends also get encouragement from their friends. I'm sorry. So I doesn't have enough strategy with my teaching because it's just a simple action that we are doing. One important collaborative in my life is that the job that I'm doing at school. But during the pandemic, I doesn't have anything collaborative with my school. I just have a little bit contact with my school director via Telegram. I doesn't have anything to do with my work at school, but I have a lot of things to do with my students. So the first strategy I'm using is listening to my students. The second is pay my full attention on what I'm doing. And the third is respect them. Thank you. Back to you, Alice.
Thank you, Kunang. And now we are going to our second part, which is my favorite, table topics. Our table topics master for today is Federico. Federico's strongest rainy memory is when, in 2016, got sick very badly in Poland, where he was alone with a Polish virus that he didn't have any defense against. When raindrops keep falling on his head, he meditates, upskills, and pushes himself beyond his limits by learning new things and by accomplishing new goals. Federico, I can't wait for your innovative questions.
Thank you, Alice. And now you're gonna have 2 to 3 minutes. And the first person that we're gonna interview is Gabi.
I'm sorry, Federico, to interrupt you. 1 to 2 minutes, please.
Sorry, 1 to 2 minutes. Gabi, what Busi can do to help you to see the light today? She was a goddess of the Boyo people.
Hi, Federico. Yeah, I think I have the light. What is the meaning of the question? Sorry.
What this goddess can help you to see the light at the dark tunnel that you're feeling, something that you cannot see the end of the bad experience, for example.
Okay. Yes. I think the light in this case, in the example of the image, I have when the things go wrong, in the, for example, when you have a candle, you take a fire and start the fire in the candle. When you start pray for God, or when the things go wrong, I think it's an example for this question. That's all.
Thank you, Gabi. Now we are gonna interview to Amy. What would you ask Shaq if you ever meet him?
Okay. I feel really ignorant because I don't know the history of Shaq. So I suppose that would be the question that I would ask Shaq, is to hear what he holds, especially with his sort of an axe in one hand and then the light and power in the other. I'm really curious. I wonder, are there links here with Thor? As I know that Thor has he has his big hammer that he holds, and he's kind of the balance of good. And then he has his brother who's evil. So I wonder, is Shaq similar in that sense, where he's a Mayan god that balances with good and evil, and the power of the energy that can be invoked and how it's balanced. But this is all speculation, and it will all come to fruition when Shaq deluged all of his tales and his history to me when we have this magical conversation, when we're sitting together in the sky floating, and he's informing me of all of the Mayan history of his power. I wonder, is it a he as well? There's only a single loincloth, so possibly, yeah. I think we'll have to have a speech on this, Federico, to let me know all about the Mayan god. So that is what I would ask Shaq if I was having a conversation with him. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Now, Angela. What can Dodola do to encourage you to give the bold move you are afraid of?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I'll admit I have absolutely no idea who Dodola is, yet I think that if I was a goddess, I would want to be encouraged to make a move by being told, you can do it. All you have to do is look inside for the inner strength, because the inner strength is something you don't actually realize you have. This is what I would do if I was Dodola. When I look at her helmet, I look at her shield. Her shield actually will protect us, in a way, metaphorically, protecting us from those around us who say it cannot be done. We just put up our shield of belief saying, I can do it. Nothing can stop me. When we put on her helmet, metaphorically, it is as if we're putting on her brain ourselves, for want of a better word, thinking like she is thinking, looking ahead, because in the picture, you can see she is steadfast in her move. Mr. Toastmaster, if I was Dodola, the Slavic goddess, I'd be looking ahead like she is. I would have my thinking cap on, covering up my brain to stop other people putting their dreadful thoughts into me. I would also have up my shield, deflecting negative thoughts, telling myself only positive things, meaning I can now do my bold move. With this, Mr. Toastmaster, I pass it back to you.
Thank you, Angela. Now, Jasmine.
Yes, please.
This one should be closer to your heart. What would be your wish to Lord Indra, and why he should grant it?
Oh, I love this question. This is the perfect timing for the question to come, because Lord Indra is supposed to be the rain god. He is the god for rain in Indian culture. And we are in the monsoon season. So, monsoon for us are 4 months of rain showers, and I live in a desertic land. It's a dry land. So, for us, monsoons are very crucial because they bring us water for survival throughout the year. And if I would get the chance to meet Lord Indra, I'm going to ask Indradev, so Dev means Lord, Indradev, to shower lots of rain for my dry land, because peacocks are going to enjoy, they are going to dance, and at the same time be merciful, because what I'm observing these days are patch rain. We get rain in one area, it could be in patch, and there could be flash floods, and that is damaging the houses. So I will ask him to be very kind, very gentle, and shower rain on us, but be uniform. And I will say, okay, be merciful, ignore humans for their mistake. Humans have been changing all the climate patterns, everything, but you are Lord, you have power, so keep showering your mercy on us besides the rain. We Indians love rain. So thank you for that very interesting message from Indra. By the way, the picture is very beautiful of Lord Indra. Thank you, Federico.
And finally, Chilpa. Last one is going to be Chilpa. How Kurokomi can enlighten you today? What are you looking for?
Hi, Federico. Hello, everyone. Thank you for the question. Now, I would say that how Karakomi Shinto deity would enlighten me. But then, first, I have to know something about him or her. I don't even know that. What I would ask any god, irrespective of what culture it belongs to or what it does, is for me to enlighten me. There is a very popular prayer I studied in a convent school, and they always said, Lord, give me the give me the patience to accept what I cannot change, and then give me the power to change what I can, and give me the wisdom to know the difference. It's based on those lines. Basically, there are something that is within your power, that is something not within your power. There is always something that is right and something that is not right. What is the most important to have is that wisdom to know the difference. I would ask Karakomi to give me the wisdom, enlighten me to the right path. And I guess if I just get that one thing, the problems of my life, and I guess for anyone's life, would be much solved if they just knew, should I take the turn A or should I take the turn B in my life? Wouldn't it be so simple? Yes, that is what my wish is for. Back to you, Federico.
Thank you very much, Chilpa. And since this is about rain, each of them is related to a god of rain, just from different cultures and different places. Everyone had a god of rain. And now back to you, Alice.
Thank you, Federico. Really innovative questions. If you asked me, I couldn't say anything in these questions. And now let's go to our third part, and which is evaluations. Our general evaluator for today is Angela Stringer.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I grew up in the tropics. I did not grow up here in England, and I can tell you I love a good rainstorm. There's nothing more amazing than seeing jacaranda trees, which are beautiful lilac against a black storm sky, to watch the lightning with the rain inundating the land. Yes, that was definitely a deluge, which I grew up with. Here in England, they say heavy rain. I look and I think, what rain? It's rather pathetic, actually. As a general evaluator, I'm going to be running this section, which gives constructive feedback on the meeting. I'm going to be leading my team. Remember, everyone, please give your speakers, every single person, some sort of feedback. Even if you say, I don't know what to say, imagine you were up there speaking and no one said, well done, or how you could improve yourself. This is one of our purposes. It's a valuable section. I'm going to call upon our first evaluator, who is Shilpa. Shilpa is evaluating Amy, who is doing her presentation mastery level 5. Shilpa, I give the floor to you.
Thank you, Angela. You can all hear me well and see me well? Okay, very well. I so wish this was a real meeting. I would have walked up to you, Amy, shook your hand, and given you a tight hug. This was a culmination. It is coming like life full circle. This is your Toastmaster life coming full circle. And you taught us about today about the lessons learned. Now, you were emotional in this speech. We could see that you were overwhelmed. You were so happy, just gone from level 1 to level 5. As a Toastmaster of the day, Alice rightly said she could see the difference. Not only she, we can all see the difference it has made in you as a speaker. We could actually hear you. You've gone from here to here. So we can actually hear you better now. We can see your smile, not only on your lips, but your smile reflecting in your eyes. That's a big one. That's a big change, Amy. You're confident. You got the annotations. You got the gestures. When you showed something like a flat tone like this, oh, I cannot even do that. I loved it on the camera. Your camera placement was perfect. So This is a testimony to anyone who is a guest in our meeting today, anyone who is a new Toastmaster, that what can sometime that you invest in Toastmasters and that you invest in yourself at Toastmasters can make how it can make a difference. One thing that I would like to point out is that probably you missed on to the what I would say is the objective of this project, the speech itself, and it can commonly happen to any of us. Those are the pitfalls of being a seasoned Toastmaster. We at times tend to just overlook that. That's fine. I know that even if you did it according to the objectives, you would have exit. I just take 1 minute, 1 second here, very.
So Shilpa, was that a completion?
Yeah, I think she had some urgency, so she has just, yeah.
Oh, I wasn't too sure what we were going on. With that, I'm going to thank Shilpa. I'll assume that she will come back to us should she require to. I'm going to change the order a little bit because our second speaker was Michelle. Her evaluator was Rukia. Rukia, if you would like to tell us what your feedback was with Michelle on her mentoring the MESCO way. Rukia, I give the floor to you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Mrs. Michelle, first of all, I would like to start with the fact that when you were speaking, I guess everybody over here would agree with me that we were just drooling over while listening to you. You were so, so good. You said one thing that when one door closes, another window opens. This is such a true saying because, of course, just from some failures, we couldn't give up on all the ways which would get us to the success. Moving on, I really like the expressions you had while memorizing the questions you were asked during your interview. It was so connecting. Your way of conveying how the man used to speak was so perfect. We could feel it. Thank you for sharing some of the thoughts that you had from the company. Now we can all keep that with us. I don't think I have any such recommendations for you. Overall, I really, really loved your speech and it was a great speech. Thank you and back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Rukia. With this, I would like to move on to our third evaluator, who will be evaluating Konang on her successful collaboration, how she brings her team together. Her evaluator is Yasmin. Yasmin, I give the floor to you as the final evaluator.
Thank you, Ma'am General Evaluator. It's such a delight to evaluate Kunang. And I use the word delight because it is really delightful to see the way she has progressed. I could see she's not using her notes anymore. I can feel a much more confident Kunang when she is speaking and in full control of her thoughts. So she was talking. She had a speech drafted very well. She had an opening, the body, and then the conclusion, and she themed it around respect. And she kept respect as the center point as she was narrating her story. The other very interesting thing with Kunang is that she always brings her personal experience into her speech, and that makes her story always very connective. So, very well done, Kunang. Lots of congratulations for the progress that you have had made in all the short time. But now you are ready. You are ready and prepared to take it to the next level. And I really want to see you now being more animated in your speech, having much more vocal variety in your speech, because now you are at a stage where you can use voice modulations. You can bring in some, even when you are talking about your children, your collaborative work with the kids, etc., you can use the narration, like as a teacher is speaking to children, how children are responding, etc., and you can bring in voice modulation. So now make your story interesting in presentation, not in the content, but how you animate and present it. So this is my challenge to Kunal, and I want to really look forward. I'm looking forward for many more speeches from her. And before I end, I have to really thank Tiger for providing me, feedback for her speech, because I was stuck in a call and I could not pay dedication to her speech as much as I wanted to. And I really want to thank Tiger for the back notes. And with this, I really want to again appreciate Kunang for taking up the speech and really bringing it to the next level. So you are already at level 3, and all the very best, Kunang, for making the next projects
Thank
come.
you.
Thank you, Yasmin. That will be the conclusion of the prepared speeches, evaluations, and feedback. I was asked to give a 1-minute impromptu, literally, feedback on table topics, a deluge of information. These were actually really great and totally innovative. I would never have thought them as rain gods in any culture. Yet I picked up 5 points. I'm going to do an overall evaluation rather than individual. Our first person reminded us to see the light, the colors the rain brings. The second, I like to think, brings power in strong plants, strong trees. The third one protects us with our rain. The fifth, and then we were reminded to be, for the gods to be merciful. Don't give us too little. Please don't give us too much. Yet don't starve us altogether. With finally, we were requesting wisdom from in our own way to follow. Yet I also think that we're asking the gods to have wisdom, to give us things, to remind us that we can't change everything. Sometimes we've just got to let it go with the flow. Frederica, these were actually really totally innovative, great visualizations. Yet I would like to say to each person, and also this is something which we should think about with table topics. If you don't know about it, invent. You should be able to speak on your feet from any topic given to you. You could say, I don't know who this person is. I'm not sure what this is yet. This is what I think it could be. This could bring out a bit of your good storytelling. Entrance us with your story, with your deluge of words. It doesn't matter who they were. It doesn't matter who their gods are, or who you think they are. Think of a message you could give to others. It doesn't have to be real, yet it does have to be believable. As I said, I'm not going to go into each person. I know a couple of people were a little bit hesitant. Again, take my words to heart. If you don't know, make it believable. Don't tell me you don't know. I might even believe your story in the end. As I said, I'm going to just give that quickly as a table topics evaluation, because we actually are going to move on to our grammarian who's going to tell us who did and did not use his wonderful words deluge. Tiger, I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind combining your R counter with your grammarian report. Tiger, I give the floor to you.
Thank you, Miss General Evaluator, and thank you for that impromptu evaluation of the table topics. That was an extremely interesting table topic session. Well, let's start with business. The odd counter, my least favorite role. If you had multiple uses of fillers, I did send you a message in chat. Overall, as a group, we did very well today. We had ahs and ums, we had some so's, we had some ands, we had some and so's. But overall, no one used so many fillers that it was distracting. So congratulations, everybody. Very disappointed in the word of the day. It only got used by 2 people, correct me if I'm wrong. If you used it and I did not acknowledge you, I apologize. But the only two people I heard use it was Michelle, who used it 3 times. She deluged us with the word deluge in her speech. And Angela used it. So thank you, Angela and Michelle, for using the word of the day. Now let's have some fun. Grammarian trivia. Who said you are ready and prepared to take it to the next level? Who said that?
Yasmin.
Yasmin, thank you. And everyone, you can unmute yourself. This is a free for all. You just cannot identify yourself. That's cheating. I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining.
Alice.
That was Alice. And thank God that I don't sing very often for you guys. Every speech has a 30-second grace period.
You.
That was IU. And apparently Michelle didn't hear that. Oh, excuse me. Now, this is funny because last week I gave a speech that was, yes, 8 minutes and 7 seconds. This DTM is great. You can talk as long as you want. And I said the exact same thing that Michelle said. I can't see the timer. Boy, is that a weak excuse. So I am looking at myself as I'm talking to you, Michelle. She's my mentor, so of course I follow her lead.
Objection.
Smile. Oh, go. Sorry, Michelle. Smile and just have a good time. I love that. This was the finish of a very good speech. Who said that?
Amy.
That was Amy. Amy, that was a wonderful conclusion to a very personal speech. It was almost hypnotic. I love that terminology. Who said that?
Michelle.
That was Michelle. Speaking of her mentor, who actually had a tremendous amount of great philosophies and suggestions. Should I take the turn A or should I take the turn B? Who said that? No, nobody? That was Shilpa. And keeping with the theme of the day, I love a good rainstorm. Who said that?
Angela.
Thank you. And I will conclude with that. Thank you very much, everybody, for a wonderful meeting. Back to you, Miss General Evaluator.
Thank you, Tiger, for that deluge of information. I would like to now go through to our timer. Would you like to tell us any times, or would you like to just leave it that you told everyone in the chat? Are you?
I would say everybody doing very good job. Our Miss General Evaluator. Only Michelle is actually over a little bit, like 33 seconds, and Silva is actually not really finishing so it's the time that I put in the chat is not real. Thank you. Back to you, Angela.
Thank you very much. With that, I'm going to wrap up our general evaluation section. Toastmastering is a cycle of giving and receiving, whether it be prepared or impromptu speeches. It's also about proper language usage. A deluge of wisdom is given back. Remember, Toastmasters isn't about the speaking. It's about the speaking. It's also about giving back information to enable that speaker to improve themselves in some way. It doesn't have to be what you think is right. It's what comes from your heart. Whether that speaker takes that knowledge or not is totally up to them. With this, I do encourage every single person here to give a little message of encouragement, something to every single speaker. Please, just think, being up there, no one tells you anything. how would you ever improve? That's a really great thing to give each other. Ideas to remind our speakers when you are giving evaluations, what is your take-home message? When we have a take-home message, we start, it's the middle, it's the end. Because again, in our speeches, it's a circle. What we start with, we end with in everything we do. I actually did not write down notes for individual people because I was too busy and I forgot, is the honest truth. Yet I would like to congratulate our people on giving some feedback to the people with whom you were evaluating. Remember, in everything you do, there's always something, just that little something you could ask people to improve on. Maybe it's the vocal variety. Maybe it's coming in closer, coming out closer. Maybe it's using their box for their gestures. Remember, gestures are very important here on Zoom. I am now going to actually pass the whole meeting back to our Toastmaster, who's Alice. Alice, raindrops are falling in the rain in your direction.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much. And now we're going to you, I think, our president.
Hi, thank you, Alice. Thank you very much. You know what? We have a special guest today. But before we go to this special guest, I would like to thank you, everybody, for showing up again and again. Please don't get bored with what I said because this is real. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. That's first. Second, thank you everybody for taking roles, and special thanks for Angela for a short notice, I guess, become our general evaluator. And now, time for our special guest. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi. How are you? You want to say something?
How are you, Miss Ayu?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Wow, that's good. So, do you want to share with all of us here how you find this group? How you find us?
I want to talk about my dad.
No, I find it.
I find my Gmail. My dad. I don't have email, but my dad has already in your list. My dad said he will tell me about the class every Monday.
Oh, who is your dad?
Habib.
And who is your mom?
Christine Margareta.
Oh, wow. Please say hi to your mom and dad. And will you be here again next week?
Yes.
Okay. So we are happy that you are with us. Okay. If you want to come next week again, please.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you, Pipi, for your smile. Beautiful.
Not Bibi. I mean baby. Baby.
Oh, baby. Okay, that's how I pronounce your name, baby. Thank you for correcting me. You are such a smart girl.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, fellow Toastmasters, let's give a round of applause for baby, our guest for today. Yay! Okay, now let's go to Yasmin. We will listen to Yasmin, baby. Okay, Yasmin, your time.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Ayu. And maybe I'm gonna start with Bibi again because Bibi, you have to come next time because next time is our special meeting for RSS. We are having the celebration. We will be having the RSS anniversary next week. Okay. So
Okay.
come in, we will have some fun. Be prepared. You have to greet us and bring your friends if you have friends. We will all have fun. Okay? It's a special meeting. You will not be bored with long speeches. We will all play together. Okay?
Okay.
And to all my dear friends, RSS family, it is a time. The next week is the time to remind us all that we are all a teenage. Yeah, you heard me right. We are sweet 16 next week. So, 20th of September, 19th of September officially is the anniversary for RSS, which is going to be our 16th anniversary. And as it's a very special moment for all of us, we are thinking of having a joyful meeting, a celebrating meeting. And I just have to run through you the agenda, which is in the making, but just to make you all aware that this is what we have been thinking. We are going to have the TMOD sort of, cheerfully greeting, waving, running the meeting. And we are going to use the opportunity to play games. We will have some games playing, interactive games around. And we will also have the moment of truth, because that will also allow us a little bit of introspection, feedback on the meeting. So I have been reaching out to some of our members who have kindly agreed. And to elaborate it, I have Ruku, who has agreed to be the TMOD for the next meeting. So Ruku, you are going to lead us through this excitement, okay? Be prepared. I have Shilpa, who has agreed to coordinate for the interactive game session. So Shilpa, we look forward for you for all the joy and fun. Please prepare for the games for around 20 minutes, depending on the number of guests we have, the members we have. Make it in a way that we can involve everyone and have lots of fun as we engage ourselves. You can also, you will be leading the moment of truth session. So you will also have 15 to 20 minutes to yourself. And I know you already have many things in mind and plans in mind. So that's the day to execute your plans. We will have Alice, who has agreed to sing a song for us. Alice, is this correct? You're going to sing. Okay, so Alice is going to be singing a song for the anniversary of RSS. Tiger has agreed to give us the joke of the day. So be prepared for some laughter. And Melva has agreed to give us the thought of the day. So instead of word of the day, we will be having a thought of the day. And we will keep the general evaluator. So just looking at Michelle. Michelle, would you be willing to take up as the general evaluator for that special meeting? Okay, I see Michelle.
Okay, I'm fine. I was, yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
However, Yasmin, just to let you know, I will do my best to invite former members.
Yes,
and
please.
if one of the members can come, then I will let you know, and that person would be the general evaluator.
That is wonderful, Michelle. If we can get former members, we can get supporters, RSS supporters. It is absolutely wonderful. And at the same time, I welcome you all in case you can reach out to other people. It's a special celebration. So more we are, more fun it is. And at the same time, in case you have other ideas, for example, you feel there is a good speaker who can give the speech, we can keep one speaking slot for in case we are able to get a renowned speaker. So it is still open, and please, I request you all to reach out to me. And Wednesday would be a very good time. Someone said bye. See you next week. Take care. Okay, Gaby. Timer, I think Ishal has agreed to be the timer. And is Amy with us? Yeah. Amy, would you be willing to take up as Sergeant of Arms, like to open the meeting?
I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make next week's meeting. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. And please bring something to drink. It will be fun to have toast towards the end, something similar we did last time. So, whatever you wish, water, wine, beer, coffee to start your morning, whichever part of the world you are sitting. So please have something to drink. And how about having a color code? We are thinking of a color code. So our Roseburg's color, Michelle, thanks to Michelle, she has already indicated to us that our Roseburg's color is green. So how fantastic it would be if we can have green as our color code. And I will send you all a meeting, but a mail, but you all are here. So please put on something green. Could be anything. Could be your attire as a green. You can have a band. You can have caps. So be innovative and just feel comfortable with whatever you can bring in as green. So we decide on green as the color code. And Angela, because you are here, I use this opportunity to extend special invite. You are more than invited, as you are always such a big supporter for RSS. And please feel free to bring in your friends, your colleagues, whoever would like to join us for this very celebration. And as I say, you are all more than welcome to share more ideas by Wednesday, please. And if there are some other speakers or guests who would you like to invite, so please reach out, and I'll be more than happy. So looking forward for a fun-filled next week. With this, I give it back to you, Ayu.
Thank you, Yasmin. And I would just say, meeting adjourned.